70, which is C Spire TV, and elsewhere. It is Richard Cross. Good morning, sir. How are you? It's good to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Paul. It feels like a little bit of a short night's sleep after last game. Late getting home, but man, what a night for Ole Miss baseball.
Played some of the clips this morning, and there were so many of them, but, I mean, it was just everything fell into place. And I remember seeing the other day after Arkansas walloped their competition, hopefully they are not going to be regretting to use some of those runs later. So, and I always say that about the Cardinals. So it's one of those situations you look to what's coming up, but give us your analysis of the game and how that use of pitchers and everything else plays into the Wednesday game.
You know, we're on a 2-week run where the pitching situation for Ole Miss couldn't have gone any better, right? I mean, you go back to the Hattiesburg Super Regional, and they used 4 pitchers over the course of 2 games. Dylan DeLucia was just absolutely outstanding on Saturday night, and then they go to Josh Balance to finish it off. So they only used 2 pitchers in a game once again. You know, interestingly enough, I mean, Hunter Elliott was outstanding. You said analysis. Yeah. There it is. There's a freshman left-hander that can really go, and it's not anymore a story of he has a chance to be a superstar. He is a superstar on the biggest of stages in college baseball, and he wasn't as dominant yesterday. Last night as he was in his previous start in Hattiesburg, but he was really, really good. And that is a good Arkansas lineup. It's got dangerous hitters up and down it. It's a hot Arkansas lineup. I thought that stood out. And then I also thought that Ole Miss kind of jumped on Arkansas early. They get 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third. And even when Arkansas, answered with a run in the first and answered with 2 runs in the second, they just kept punching. And I thought that really set the tone. But back to the pitching conversation, I thought it was, game was absolutely in control. You got to finish it, right? I mean, you got to finish it. You got to play well to get it all done. Mm-hmm. But Ole Miss had 2 guys that they desperately needed to throw in that game last night. Mason Nichols and Brandon Johnson had not pitched in 15 days. They hadn't thrown since Sunday in the Coral Gables Regional because the Rebels have been so dominant and kind of done what they wanted to do on the mound. Brandon Johnson wasn't his best last night, and Mike Bianco said, I think I asked him after the last game of the Hattiesburg Super Regional, did you think about putting him in? He said, yeah, I did, but I don't like using a closer in a non-closed situation. Those guys are a little weird, right? They're a little cuckoo upstairs sometimes, and sometimes if you put them in a situation that's not high leverage, you don't get their best. Well, you get to a point where we're going to need you in a high leverage situation, but I need you to have thrown in a more recent time frame than 2 weeks. And so it was good to see those guys get in and pitch last night, and that is a special place. We've talked about it in the past, Paul. It was special a year ago for Mississippi State. It was special all the other times the teams have been. It was great last night.
Trying to read the small print here. The game today is between Arkansas and what's the there is a game today.
Auburn. Texas A&M and Notre Dame. Yeah, Texas A&M Notre Dame playing an elimination game in the early game. Yeah, and then Arkansas Auburn will play an elimination game as well.
And then tomorrow we don't know who we're going to play yet.
No, whoever wins tonight.
Whoever wins that one. I got it. But we do know the game will be at 6 p.m.
Yeah, Ole Miss will stay in the night slot as they have so far. And I mean, here's the deal: you get into a 4-team double elimination format. It's not about just winning the first game. It's about winning the first 2 games. And the team that wins the first 2 games puts themselves in this incredible position because now somebody's got to beat them twice. And so either Auburn or Arkansas is going to have to beat Ole Miss twice, and they will have to do so having played another game and played consecutive days in the heat. Mm-hmm. And So for Auburn and Arkansas right now, on the Ole Miss side of the bracket, in terms of them getting to the College World Series Finals, which Ole Miss is now a win away from, they've got to win 3 games in 3 days, and really, play 4 games in 4 days, taking into the fact that they both played yesterday also.
Boy, you don't want to mess anything up. It's going like it's supposed to, and if you're the coach, what do you do today? You say, go to the hotel room and rest. What do you do? They will
practice. They practiced on Sunday at Creighton University, which is also there. They've got a turf field. I mean, I don't think it'll be some long, super intense practice, but they'll let guys sleep in a little bit this morning. They'll get pitchers will run. They'll have a team practice probably early afternoon just to get out, get guys moving around. They'll hit a little bit, take some infield, and they'll just try to stay in a routine. And I mean, this is where you get into like the coach cliche stuff, where it's like, coaches talk about one game at a time and, one day at a time and staying in your routine. Yeah. This is where that matters, though, because the routine has worked really, really well as of late.
Well, I would also imagine that every team in the MLB has their scouts there. So it's a lot of pressure on these kids. I understand that. And it was a pretty good contingent of fans from Ole Miss fans who made the trip.
Yeah, it was great.
It was incredible.
It's so hard in an environment like that to go, oh, well, there were X thousand fans there. I mean, my guess is the attendance was over 25,000 last night, probably somewhere in the 8,000 to 10,000 range in terms of Ole Miss fans. There's a great Arkansas crowd as well. We were kind of kicking it around after the game, and somebody said, 50-50, maybe 60-40 Ole Miss. I don't know what the breakdown was, but it was really, really good night when you're talking or it was a great night when you're talking about 11 hours from Oxford. Any way people can get there, driving, flying, busing, training. If there was a way to get a boat there from here, I think people would try that as well. There's just so much joy there, Paul. I mean, everybody's happy to be there. And I don't mean like happy to be there and like who cares what happens. I mean, like just genuinely, we love college baseball and this is where we want to be.
You see that also. Sometimes you have that chemistry with a particular team. You get the right mix in the team, and you can tell they're having fun. But they understand what the job is, and they get it done. But it does bring the spotlight. Last year because of the Bulldogs, and this year because of the Rebels. It just means so much to the state of Mississippi. Even go back and salutes to University of Southern Mississippi. But baseball has been big in Mississippi this year in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just the last couple of years, honestly. I mean, you can go back. I mean, going Mississippi State, you're going back to the late 70s, early 80s. It took a little while for Ole Miss to catch on and to be as passionate about it as they are. But yeah, and it's what makes it so much fun, and it's why we talk about college baseball as much on our show as we do. Yeah. Because people here care so much about it. You can't do that in Alabama. You can't do that in Georgia. You can't in Mississippi.
That's true. You ready for football? It's going to be a unique year, isn't it?
It is. I think it's going to be a fun year. I want to enjoy this baseball thing just a little while longer.
I understand. But, man, you guys, 3 hours is not going to be enough time to sit during the football season at all. Enjoy, you guys, always. Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.